Hello, my name is Anaya Tassi. I am the chair of the Fairborn Diversity and Inclusion Committee, and we are here to introduce the first annual Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. Celebration Essay and Art Contest.
Yes, and my name is Ree Molnar. I am the vice chair of the Fairborn Diversity and Inclusion Committee and so excited to share this introduction with you all.
The Fairborn Diversity and Inclusion Committee started in the summer of 2020, and it started after the Black Lives Matter protest that I organized in downtown Fairborn, and it was really created to showcase and celebrate the diversity that lives within Fairborn.
Yes, and I was so excited to join the committee after attending the protest that Anaya and Anaya's friends organized. It was just a beautiful display of what Fairborn can do together when we unite for the mission of justice. So although this is our first annual Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. celebration essay and art contest here in Fairborn, we are very much inspired by the celebration that has been happening in Yellow Springs for a number of years. And we really, really look forward to many more to come. We'd very much like to thank the members of the subcommittee of the Fairborn Diversity and Inclusion Committee, which helped pull this off with their tireless efforts that are completely voluntary. So first off, I'd like to thank Gina Caldwell, the senior pastor of Emmanuel Ministries in Fairborn, and also a member of this Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. Celebration Subcommittee.
I would also like to thank the City Council member and Fairborn Diversity and Inclusion Committee member, Tana Stanton.
We'd also like to thank Fairborn City Schools Director of Classified Personnel, Amy Gayhart.
City Council member and Fairborn Diversity and Inclusion member, Clint Allen.
Fairborn business owner, Sylvia Chess.
The treasurer of the Fairborn Diversity and Inclusion Committee, Marilyn McCauley.
And community member, Dexter Bailey.
We'd also like to thank the teachers, the students, and their families who supported them, as well as just the community in general.
Thank you so much and enjoy the show.
Good evening. My name is Gina Caldwell, and I'm the senior pastor at Emmanuel Ministries here in Fairborn. Before we get started this evening with the commemoration of the late Reverend Dr. Martin Luther King Jr., I will be offering up the invocation for this evening. Reverend Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. had many titles in his life. That of an activist, a spokesperson and leader for the civil rights movement, a humanitarian, a husband, a father, and son. He was also a Baptist minister who at the tender age of 25 became the pastor of the Dexter Avenue Baptist Church in Montgomery, Alabama in 1954 and received his PhD in systematic theology in 1955, which earned him the title Reverend Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. Yet, in spite of all these titles, Dr. King stayed humble and true to the God of Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob. Knowing who Dr. King was and what he valued, God, family, justice, equality, and peace, I think he would say to us today, let us pray for our nation. So let us pray. Father God, we come to you because the people of this nation and everything in it belongs to you. We are not here by accident. You are the one who set us in this nation at this particular time for the glory of your name. But Father, the people of this country are turning against one another. We don't live as commanded to love one another. Brother has turned against brother, sister against sister, and child against parent. However, your word says that if we humble ourselves and pray, turn from our wicked ways, you will heal our land. Lord, heal our hearts and heal our land. Remove bitterness and resentment from our hearts and help us to live in harmony
I say to you today, my friends, so even though we face the difficulties of today and tomorrow, I still have a dream. It is a dream deeply rooted in the American dream. I have a dream that one day our nation will rise up and live out the true meaning of its creed. We hold these truths to be self-evident that all men are created equal.
I have a dream that one day, out in the red hills of Georgia, the sons of former slaves and the sons of former slave owners will be able to sit down together at the table of brotherhood.
I have a dream that one day, even the state of Mississippi, a state sweltering with the heat of oppression, will be transformed into an oasis of freedom and justice.
I have a dream that my 4 little children will one day live in a nation where they will be not judged by the color of their skin, but by the content of their character. I have a dream today. I have a dream that one day, down in Alabama, with its vicious racists and its governor having his lips dripping with the words of interposition and nullification, that one day, right down in Alabama, little black boys and black girls will be able to join hands with little white boys and white girls as sisters and brothers. I have a dream today.
I have a dream that one day every valley shall be engulfed, every hill shall be exalted, and every mountain shall be made low. The rough places will be made plains, and the crooked places will be made straight, and the glory of the Lord shall be revealed, and all flesh shall see it together. This is our hope. This is the faith that I will go back to the South with. With this faith, we will be able to hew out of the mountain of despair a stone of hope. With this faith, we will be able to transform the jangling discords of our nation into a beautiful symphony of brotherhood.
With this faith, we will be able to work together, to pray together, to struggle together, to go to jail together, to climb up for freedom together, knowing that we will be free one day. This will be the day when all of God's children will be able to sing with new meaning. My country 'tis of thee, sweet land of liberty, of thee
My
I sing.
country, 'tis of thee, sweet land of liberty, of thee I sing, land where my fathers died, land of the pilgrim's pride, from every mountainside let freedom ring.
Land where my fathers died, land of the pilgrim's pride. For every mountainside, let freedom
My country,
ring.
'tis of thee, sweet land of liberty, of thee I sing. Land where my fathers died, land of the pilgrim's pride, from every mountainside, let freedom ring.
Hello, I'm Clint Allen, Councilman for the City of Fairborn and a proud member of the Fairborn Diversity and Inclusion Committee. On November 2nd, 1983, President Ronald Reagan signed a bill to create a national holiday to honor Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. The first Martin Luther King Jr. Day observed as a holiday was on January 20th, 1986. This is our first community event in our city to honor Dr. King's legacy. And I want to take just a minute to thank the committee who put this together. The committee worked extremely hard on this program, a lot of Zoom meetings, and I so appreciate the efforts of each person on this team. So from the bottom of my heart, I want to thank Anaya Tassi, Ree Molnar, Marilyn McCauley, Gina Caldwell, Amy Gayhart, Dexter Bailey, Liberty Vegas, Kayla Gay, Sylvia Chess, and Councilwoman Tana Stanton. Thank you all for your passion to see this event through. On the occasion of Martin Luther King Jr. Day, let us take encouragement from the inspiring life of Dr. King and make our life and our life pursuits worthy in every sense. As I think about Dr. King's message and legacy in today's context, in light of a global pandemic that has literally paralyzed this country, and the shameful, sickening riots we witnessed on Capitol Hill, some would say that humanity is at a critical point. What's really interesting is that our choice is the same as it's always been. Come together, unite, or perish as a society. Dr. King's powerful "I Have a Dream" message, delivered to the country nearly 60 years ago, is still relevant today. We must learn to cooperate with each other. We must learn to accept each other. We must build our communities and the world, for that matter, on the foundation of togetherness, not separateness. So here's the question. How big can we expand our idea of us? How can we widen our idea of who is equal to us? Who are we willing to take into our family? I would submit this thought. Every one of us once lived in a very limited world revolving around me. As we matured, we expanded our world of me to include our immediate family in a sense of us. Everyone else with them. One thing for sure, they were different from us. And we had to watch out for them. As we grew, the world forced us to come in contact with them. Experience revealed that some of them were really not so bad after all. See, we're all human. Since humanity has now been shown to be one great big family, the task before us is this. How quickly can we raise our consciousness to oneness with all people? Now that we know that we are one, the Creator expects us to live as one. The challenge, if you haven't already done so, reach out in friendship to a family member of a different race or a different culture. Dr. King planted these seeds of love and reminded us to treat each other in fairness and kindness. His dream was a manifestation of hope that humanity might one day get out of its own way by finding the courage to realize that love and nonviolence are not indicators of weakness, but gifts of significant strength. So let's not just admire Dr. King, let's follow him. Don't just remember him on one day of the year. Do justice. Love mercy. Although Dr. King is no longer with us physically, it is our responsibility to keep his spirit alive. We are all guardians of his legacy. He gave the ultimate sacrifice, and for all that he lived for and died for, it is incumbent upon us to live our life to the fullest and be guided by something bigger than us. Ours is a sacred trust to leave this world better than we entered it. And that starts here in our community. No matter where you are in your career or business, there is always something you can do or someone you can help in order to strengthen the community. Red, yellow, brown, black, white, gay, straight. You see, we are all patches of this great American quilt. We must seek common ground. We are all in this together. We are the dream.
Hi, my name is Tana Stanton, and I serve on the Fairborn City Council. I am also a member of the Fairborn Diversity and Inclusion Committee. In this part of the program, we will announce the winners of the essay, video, and art contests for the intermediate, middle, and high school students. We have awarded first, second, and third prizes in each category, except in a few cases where there were too few submissions. On January 25th, the winners will receive their prize money, and all participants will receive certificates of appreciation. In the intermediate school art category, the winners are: third prize, Mason Gilliam; second prize, Savannah Goodman; and first prize, Mariam Abu. Here is Mariam's artwork. In the intermediate school video category, the winner is first prize, Deja Wallace. Here is Deja's video.
I have a drink. I have a drink. I have a dream today. Thank you, Dr. King, for having a dream.
In the intermediate school essay category, the winners are: third prize, Mason Gilliam; second prize, Mansour Bader; and first prize, Trent Davidson. Here is Trent's essay.
Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. essay. Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. was a preacher in the 1960s. He gave one of the greatest speeches in American history at the Lincoln Memorial during the Civil Rights March in August 1963. I Have a Dream was a speech that won't be forgotten. His speech was given to show the American people the effects of racism and how everyone, despite the color of their skin, should be seen as equal. The quote, "I have a dream that my 4 children will one day live in a nation where they will not be judged by the color of their skin, by the content of their character," was the point of interest of his speech. It was an emotional quote that everyone could relate to. But would Dr. King be proud today? I think that he would be proud because racism is not as bad as it was in the 1960s. Americans have come a long way in the fight on racism, and our country is more equal than it was back then. I also think that he would be disappointed in the way a large number of Americans still act towards each other because of their races. Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. would probably change a few things today. With the world the way it is, he would look for the highest disadvantages. He would notice the racial problems that we as a country still face and fight for change. I believe that if he were alive today, people would listen to his words and act better. Martin Luther King Jr. was a man that went down in history as one of the greatest fighters for civil rights and equality. His words and actions helped many American lives. It is important to honor his work, and I was proud to write this essay.
Congratulations to the winners, and thank you to all the students who participated.
Hi, my name is Liberty Vegas. I am a Wright State graduate student. I am also a proud member of Fairborn Diversity and Inclusion Committee. I am here to announce the winners for Fairborn Middle School in the category of art. The third place winner is Savannah Harmon. The second place winner is Ayesha Harris. And the first place winner is Joelle Henson. And here is Joelle's artwork. In the category for essays, the second place winner is Abby Hoister. And the first place winner is Serena Kosin. And here is Serena's essay.
We had a dream. We had a dream that this nation would rise up and live out the true meaning of its creed. We hold these truths to be self-evident, that all men are created equal. We had a dream that one day on the red hills of Georgia, the sons of former slaves and sons of former slave owners will be able to sit down together at the table of brotherhood. We had a dream that one day, even the state of Mississippi, a state sweltering with the heat of injustice, sweltering with the heat of oppression, will be transformed into an oasis of freedom and justice. We had a dream that his 4 little children would one day live in a nation where they will not be judged by the color of their skin, but by the content of their character. We had a dream. We had a dream that one day every valley shall be exalted, and every hill and mountain shall be made low. The rough places will be made plain, and the crooked places will be made straight. And the glory of the Lord shall be revealed, and all flesh shall see it together. We had a dream. Today we live this dream. Today black men and women are free to love white men and women. Today black children are free to play with white children. Today white men and black men stand as brothers. Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. believed in this dream. He stood for this dream and he died for this dream. Today we're living this dream in honor of this man. Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. brought us together. He led us to the truth that we share at night and morning, that our blood runs red in all of our veins, that the color of our skin is nothing to the content of our character. Today, we fight against the wrongdoers. We stand in the streets together and fight for justice for Breonna Taylor. Today, we scream, "I can't breathe" for George Floyd. Today, we stand for these rights and we don't back down. We are no longer afraid to fight, all because of Mr. King.
Congratulations to all the winners.
Hello, I'm Dexter Bailey, a member of the Fairborn Diversity and Inclusion Committee, and I am honored to read the awards for the Fairborn Martin Luther King Essay, Video, and Art Contest High School winners. Here we go. All right. In the high school art category, the winners are, tied for first place, Lydia Zvari and Nicholas Colvin. Great job. Here's their artwork. In the high school video category, the winners are, second prize, Autumn Wallace. Good job. First prize, Emily Fasnacht. Oh, here's Emily's video.
My name is Emily Fasnacht. I am a sophomore at Fairborn High School, and my advisory teacher is Miss McFadgen. This is an original poem that I wrote. Social justice is a necessity, but people brush it off breathlessly. Most people fail to educate their daughters and sons. When we talk about the problems, they tend to run. Equality won't come easy. Hurting people just makes me feel queasy. We allow society to hurt and treat people like they are dirt. Martin Luther King Jr. started a long fight, and I take in all his insight. But we all need to learn to give people respect and expect nothing in return. But we stand back and say nothing at all, because we all have hate installed. How can we let ourselves just live when we all have so much to give? We withhold our power because we fear and we cower. So stand up and stand out and give love throughout. I wrote this poem because I enjoy to educate myself on social issues and standing up for what I think is right. A big role model for me is Martin Luther King Jr. because he was a leader in the civil rights movement and he spoke out for what he thought was right and he helped so many people. Someday I hope that I'll be able to help people like he did and maybe even inspire people to also speak out. Not only is Martin Luther King Jr. a hero to me, he's just an American hero. I think especially with what's going on in the world right now and in this day and age, we all need to just look back and see where this started and how far we've come as a country. And instead of promoting violence, we should start promoting peacefulness. Because we don't need any more hate in the world right now. And if we all come together as one community and we look at the problem and try to fix it, I think we really could. I think we could fix the problem. We could help stop racism and have equality for everybody. Because there's so many different groups of people that are discriminated against every day, and we need to all band together to help them.
All right, and for the high school video category, the winners are Autumn Wallace for second place. Good job, Autumn. And for first prize is Fatima Abu and Emily Fosnoff. Good job. Great job.
Hello, my name is Fatima Abu. I'm a freshman at Fairborn High School, and today I'm going to be reading my essay on human rights, social justice, and equality. The United States was founded on the belief that every individual is entitled to certain inalienable rights. These civil liberties are set forth in the Bill of Rights and in a variety of federal civil rights status. Many key individuals championed the cause of civil rights as we have it today. One key figure in the civil rights movement, as we know, was Martin Luther King Jr. Martin Luther King Jr. was an American activist who dedicated his life to better the treatment of black people in the community. He encouraged many peaceful protests, and in one of his protests, he gave his very famous speech named "I Have a Dream." In his speech, we hear King point out many problems that black people in America face. 3 of the most common problems pointed out were human rights, social justice, and equality. During the time of Martin Luther King Jr., African Americans were not given full human rights. Their rights were often abused by some racist white people. This was wrong. Therefore, they protested against it multiple times to try and change it. Human rights are basically moral principles or norms that describe certain standards of behavior and are regularly protected in monarchical and international laws. Promoting human rights could be done by moderating the abuses of it, relieving needs among the victims of human rights abuse, and also educating the community about human rights. If the community could first educate the people about human rights and why it is important, they could reduce the number of people being abused. This will make it easier for them to relieve the needs of the victims. King also spoke about another issue, social justice. In his speech, he said, "Injustice anywhere is a threat to justice everywhere. We are caught in the inescapable network of mutuality, tied in a single garment of destiny. Whatever affects one directly affects all indirectly. Social justice is the relation of balance between individuals in society measured by comparing distribution of wealth differences from personal liberties to fair privilege opportunities. When social justice is ignored, it can cause unfair treatment that can evolve to outright oppression and inequality in the community. And as King said, whatever affects one directly affects all indirectly. So we should all do our best to keep our community free of any social injustice." The last of the 3 main points that were pointed out in King's speech was equality. specifically social equality. Social equality is the state of affairs which all people within a specific society have equal rights, liberties, and status. King says in his speech, "I have a dream that one day this nation will rise up and live out the true meaning of its creed. We hold these truths to be self-evident that all men are created equal." Equality has a lot of positive effects on society, such as tolerance, respect, and care. As long as everyone is accepted and treated equally, there will be peace in the community. Invariably, human rights, social justice, and equality are very significant in society. Educating the community about these problems can make a big difference in the way that African Americans, and indeed all individuals, are treated. Surely, education of our fellow citizens about civil rights and liberties will help ensure that all Americans are treated with equality, social justice, and prevent the abuse of human rights.
My name is Emily Fosnot. I'm a sophomore at Fairborn High School, and my advisory teacher is Ms. McFadgen, and this is an original essay that I wrote. Why should one person care about human rights and equality for all? It's simple. Everyone has human rights and should fight to keep them. Martin Luther King Jr. fought for equality and human rights for colored people. They were mistreated and discriminated against for the color of their skin. That's something they cannot control. So why were they being treated differently? They have their freedom now, but still get treated differently. If you look through the past year, you can obviously see it. With the protests and even daily life. People of color do not have it the same as white people. White privilege is a real thing, and it's taking a big part in society, and it always has. Human rights will always be important in society. They protect people and help people have the freedom to be who they are. Martin Luther King Jr. was a strong activist who helped society get to where it is today. He was a strong leader in the community who spoke up for what he thought was right. If he were alive today, he would be the first in the community for the Black Lives Matter movement. Human rights are being compromised, but why? It's because people think they're better for people for things they cannot control. What makes someone better than another person for being lighter than them? Nothing. No one is better than another person based on personal appearance. Social justice is justice within things like distribution of wealth, opportunities, and privilege within society. Social justice is a person standing up for what they are entitled to based on human rights. Having equal opportunities in society is a social justice issue, and not just for the Black community, but also for immigrants, natives, women, and any person of color. Companies are biased based on ethnicity, age, gender, sexuality, and many other things. They will be more likely to hire a straight, white, older man who is underqualified than anyone else who does not fit that description. Social justice is not just an issue on this part. It is a problem on almost every factor in society, to the little things of being watched in a grocery store based on skin color, or big things like full-on hate crimes. This is still an issue today because of stereotypes. Stereotypes hurt people because most of the time stereotypes are used to hurt people and use them to give reasons not to have equality. How do we fix a lot of these problems? Equality. But equality does not happen overnight. It is a long fight. We have been fighting for decades, and it's still going on. Equality helps society by helping everyone have an equal opportunity to have a good life, not by having privilege, but by what they can accomplish in life. Privilege is not just being born white. It's being born into rich families, being born into a free country, or even having parents that stay around. Equality won't just help people of color, but the LGBTQ community, women, and people in poverty. Martin Luther King helped start the big fight, but now we need to band together to finish it. Everyone can help no matter what, signing petitions, protesting, or even educating people to help them see problems in society.
Congratulations to the winners, and thank you to all the students who participated.
Hello, my name is Kayla Gay, and I am a Fairborn High School junior and a member of the Fairborn Diversity and Inclusion Committee. We would like to thank everyone that submitted a piece of work into the contest. We appreciate the hard work and dedication to MLK's values expressed in every word, color, and tone of voice. We would also like to thank the businesses that displayed these pieces of art, entered into the contest, and that came from the primaries. These businesses are Oddities, Neighbor Nest, Right Pets, Marabella Boutique, Terry Lynn's Art Studio, Lefty's Coffee Shop, Greene County Library, and Fairborn Alterations. These actions display a commitment to equality and social justice. We would also like to thank the amazing 27 judges, most of which come from Fairborn City Schools, City Council, School Board and Administration, Fairborn Art Association, Fairborn Christian Alliance, Right Pat, and Right Pat Air Force Base.
And if America is to be a great nation, this must become true. So let freedom ring from the hilltops of New Hampshire. Let freedom ring from the mighty mountains of New York. Let freedom ring from the heightening Alleghenies of Pennsylvania.
Let freedom ring from the snow-capped Rockies of Colorado. Let freedom ring from the curvaceous slopes of California. But not only that, let freedom ring from the Stone Mountains of Georgia. Let freedom ring from the Lookout Mountain of Tennessee. Let freedom ring from every hill and molehill of Mississippi, from every mountainside. Let freedom ring.
When we let freedom ring, when we let it ring from every tenement and every hamlet, from every state and every city, we will be able to speed up that day when all of God's children, black men and white men, Jews and Gentiles, Protestants and Catholics, will be able to join hands and sing in the words of the old spiritual. Free at last. Free at last. Thank God Almighty, we are free at last.
As we reflect on the great words of our Fairborn City School students, especially in today's environment, we must remember that we are the dream for those behind us. Let's make certain that they can reach their dream. While we are all different, we are all the same.